While night gathers softly around you, imagine the gentle secrets of the world's rivers, lakes, and waterfalls unfurling in slow, silvery ripples. Beneath calm surfaces and quiet currents, soothing wonders drift patiently, untouched by day's rush. These waters remember the shapes of clouds, the colors of stones, and the voices of wind. Float with gentle stories shaped by water's touch, and let the river of sleep draw you along its tranquil bends. As you settle in, give your mind permission to wander where rivers run slowly beneath starlit skies. Water has always been Earth's patient artist, tracing new paths, wearing stone down to sand, shaping valleys and sheltering life. The hush of lakes and the drifting lull of waterfalls invite you to listen not with your ears, but with the quietest corners of your mind. Tonight we drift together, following the winding stories hidden in these ancient waters, their luminous depths, their gentle surprises, and the stillness that waits between each drop and ripple. You'll find there's a kind of comfort in exploring these hidden waterways, where time itself feels softened and stretched. Let yourself meander, unhurried, as we wade into the calming mysteries of rivers, lakes, and waterfalls, each fact unfolding like a leaf on water, brought to rest by the gentle current of sleep. Before we drift off, a quiet note: if these journeys help you sleep, subscribing is a gentle way to keep them coming. Now, settle in, let your eyes grow heavy, and let's begin. Let us start not with a rushing river, but a lake that seems to have stopped time. In far northern Russia, Lake Baikal rests quietly beneath thick winter ice, holding more water than any other freshwater lake on Earth. It is among the oldest as well. Scientists believe it formed roughly 25 million years ago, quietly collecting meltwater and rain, even as mountains and forests changed all around it. Few people realize that Baikal holds nearly a fifth of all the world's unfrozen fresh water, gathered in a single, peaceful blue expanse. Stranger still, Lake Baikal's clarity is legendary. In the frozen winter months, the ice becomes a thick, transparent window, so clear you can sometimes see as much as 40 meters down through its glassy stillness. Underneath, unique animals drift slowly, many of them found nowhere else, like the tiny Baikal seal, padding softly across the ice, one of the only freshwater seals in existence. The lake's steady chill quietly shelters species shaped by millennia of isolation. The lake's great depth and stability make it almost like an inland sea, home to thousands of forms of life, most of which cannot be found anywhere else on Earth. Baikal's unfathomable calmness, its thick, cold depths, mean it takes water centuries to travel from one end of the lake to the other. Somewhere beneath its silent surface, ancient water moves gently, bearing stories from Ice Age winters no person remembers. Traveling southward in your imagination, you can feel the mist and cool air where waterfalls tumble slowly over mossy stone. Niagara Falls, almost unfathomably vast, continues its timeless work. Yet what's soothing is the way the water finds always the same calm descent, drop after drop, reshaping its ledges bit by bit. The great volume of water is steady, quieting, almost hypnotic in its endless renewal. The water flowing over Niagara's edge comes from 4 of North America's Great Lakes, gathering softly and without hurry before finding its way to the cliff. As it falls, the air fills with negative ions, tiny invisible particles released by the churning water that scientists believe can quietly improve our mood and sense of well-being. Even standing at a distance, the air feels fresher, clearer, and charged with a subtle energy. While the falls seem eternal, few pause to consider that Niagara's face is always gently changing. Each year, centuries of water have slowly worn away a few inches from the cliff, drawing the falls a little further upstream. The ancient rocks lie below, slumbering under ever-falling water, reshaped not by force, but by steady persistence over the years. And as you drift alongside this thought, imagine now the world's smallest river, the Roe River, winding contentedly through Montana's short grass. At only about 60 meters long, it flows gently from giant springs to the Missouri River, almost like a silver thread laid softly between earth and water. While great rivers carve continents, the Roe simply meanders, unhurried and nearly unnoticed. The water that fills this tiny river is astonishingly clear, emerging from limestone-fed springs that filter it even before it reaches sunlight. Here, the stream is so shallow and gentle you could almost mistake it for a path of dew. Though the Roe is humble, its waters connect quietly to rivers and lakes far beyond, whispering the same patient language of flow and rest that binds all waters. Somewhere else, Lake Natron in Tanzania quietly glows a luminous red in the long, warm dusk. Its surface can shimmer like molten glass, colored by microscopic algae that thrive in its unusual, highly alkaline water. This lake is so salty and mineral-rich that only a few resilient creatures, like flamingos, find sanctuary along its shifting shoreline. The water of Lake Natron can sometimes reflect soft pastel colors at dawn and dusk, and the air around the lake feels almost otherworldly. In the quiet of evening, columns of flamingos gather along the shallow edge, finding sanctuary to nest and raise their young away from most predators. The tranquility here is almost absolute, punctuated only by birdsong and faint ripples in the pink-tinged water. While most creatures cannot survive Natron's embrace, the lake supports rare forms of life, tiny fish and microbes that accept the heat and alkalinity as their home. These small lives, almost invisible, lend the lake its strange, restful color. In this way, life's resilience persists quietly, even where water becomes salt and mirror and light. Now the Danube River winds quietly across Europe, a peaceful current passing through more countries than any other river on Earth. It weaves through 10 nations, linking mountain valleys and sleepy towns, ancient castles and tranquil plains. For centuries, the Danube carried poets, traders, and travelers, leaving behind stories in the gentle bends and silent backwaters. At night, the Danube can appear almost completely still. Its waters reflect the stars, carrying the faint echoes of distant bells and laughter from riverside villages. For many along its banks, the river is time's gentle companion, a source of calm, a quiet guide that shapes the fields and forests. The Danube's body becomes a thread stitched patiently through the continent's heart. As sunlight eventually reaches the river's end, it finds the tranquil Danube Delta, a great expanse of marshland, lagoon, and reedbed. Here, the river finally relinquishes itself to the Black Sea, feeding a sanctuary that quietly supports hundreds of bird species, countless fish, and endless hidden creatures. The delta's hush is broken only by the soft pulse of wings over water. Not all rivers follow familiar rules. In Venezuela, the Casiquiare River forms an astonishing natural canal, connecting the headwaters of two of the largest rivers in South America, the Orinoco and the Amazon. This rare connection, called a bifurcation, quietly splits partway through its course, sending some waters to the Caribbean and others to the Atlantic. The Casiquiare's channel is peaceful and slow-moving, bordered by thick green forest and home to ancient trees that drop leaves into its calm surface. Few people notice that along this river, the same drop of water could one day reach widely different worlds of mangrove or tidal mouth, all because of the Casiquiare's gentle decision to divide. Some lakes are so old and constant that they become quiet time capsules, holding tales of vanished creatures and ancient climates. In Africa, Lake Tanganyika is both one of the oldest and deepest lakes known, stretching more than 600 kilometers along the Great Rift. Scientists have studied the deep, clear layers of its water, finding traces of ancient climate patterns patiently preserved in silent, underwater sediments. The life within Tanganyika is equally remarkable. In its secluded depths, more species of fish, especially colorful cichlids, evolved than almost anywhere else. Some of these fish have grown so specialized that they can thrive nowhere else on Earth. The lake's quiet isolation has become a cradle for unique life, sheltered by the gentle barriers of ancient rock and water. Above the water, slow-moving fog sometimes creeps out, softening sunlight and casting everything in gentle silver and gray. Lake Tanganyika's shores echo with sounds both familiar and far off, calls of birds, shifts in the wind, and the near-silent stir of water against old stone. Here, time and water collaborate in patient, soothing ways. Somewhere across the world, a waterfall flows not by dropping from a great height, but instead by spreading wide in thin curtains of water. The Hraunfossar waterfalls in Iceland form where glacial melt seeps quietly through ancient lava fields. Instead of a single, thundering plunge, countless narrow streams emerge at once, tracing pale ribbons over the dark stone, a mosaic of peaceful, perpetual movement. This gentle waterfall owes its form to thousands of years of slow erosion and volcanic transformation. Water that enters the ground far uphill patiently travels through porous lava before returning to the surface, cool and pure. The result is a network of tiny, intertwining streams, a living veil always shifting, always quietly present against Iceland's stark, midnight landscape. Standing beside Hraunfossar, the air is surprisingly quiet for a waterfall. The usual roar is replaced by gentle murmurs and the occasional soft plash where water finds a mossy ledge. Only Iceland's clear, cold light and the constant braiding of water over stone keep you company as evening drifts in. Venture gently now to Canada's Lake Superior, where some of the world's oldest rocks slumber beneath cold, deep water. Scientists believe that some granite here is over 2.7 billion years old, older than the first forests, the earliest mountains, and even many stars above. The water's slow patience has protected and polished these stones for uncounted ages. The cold clarity of Lake Superior comes from how little organic matter the water holds, a kind of rare, glass-like purity. On nights when the sky is clear, moonlight can reach surprising depths, glimmering softly on pale stones far beneath the gentle waves. Hidden currents, shaped by ancient winds and the subtle weight of time, breathe just beneath the surface. Few realize that waves on Lake Superior can take hours to cross from one shore to another, so wide is its calm expanse. The water can be nearly windless in summer, sunlight moving in slow, silvery bands. In winter, Superior becomes a quiet world of ice, its surface slowly cracking and shifting under a star-laden sky. In the far Canadian north, another kind of river flows under ice, one that glows with gentle, mysterious turquoise light. The Nahanni River, flanked by old spruce forest and high cliffs, is famous not only for its cold clarity, but also for its swirling mist and legends of hidden valleys. Its slow-moving waters reflect the colors of dawn and the glow of the northern lights in winter's long, drawn-out nights. In the early mornings, mist rises off the Nahanni, wrapping the landscape in veils of gauzy silver. The only sound is the distant hum of water moving beneath ice and stone, carrying fragments of old stories, ancient glacial silt, and the first sunlight. The river's calm beauty has drawn quiet wanderers for thousands of years, all soothed by its patient flow. The Nahanni supports delicate, mossy banks and rare wild orchids that bloom in the shadow of evergreens, nourished by water as old as the first people to walk its shores. Somewhere, a beaver shapes its home, and otters slip beneath the mirrored surface as the river continues its tranquil course, sheltered by age and cold. From the north's cool hush, imagine now a river that ebbs and flows according to the moon's pull. In Brazil, the Amazon's water level can rise and fall by nearly 15 meters with the rainy season, transforming what is quiet forest into a flooded world. The flooded forest, or várzea, envelopes vast stretches of land, and trees adapt to spending months with their roots underwater. During the flood season, some sections of the Amazon can appear as endless, dreamy lakes, water stretching in every direction, broken only by the slow glide of aquatic plants. Here, dolphins swim between tree trunks, their pink shapes flickering in filtered underwater sunlight. Fish adapted to this quiet, ever-changing world find homes in submerged branches and shifting shadows. As the water gently recedes each year, tiny seedlings and new grasses emerge on freshly exposed banks, in rhythm with the water's slow retreat. Life along the Amazon's edge learns to rest, wait, and begin again, a patient, seasonal pattern shaped by the silent conversation between river, tree, and sky. On the far side of the world, New Zealand's Blue Lake is known for having some of the clearest natural water ever measured. It lies quiet among mountain slopes, and its clarity is so great that objects can remain visible from over 80 meters away, almost as clearly as they would in distilled water. Few lakes can match such purity. The Blue Lake's unusual clearness comes from the cold, filtered water of nearby springs, which passes through layers of gravel and sand before flowing into the lake. This intricate filtering removes nearly all particles, allowing sunlight to travel straight through the water, illuminating pebbles and threads of mountain grass that lie on the quiet lakebed far below. On still days, Blue Lake's mirrored surface reflects the sky and the slow drift of clouds, blurring the line between water and air. The result is a feeling of infinite openness, even a sense that one could drift endlessly in the clear, blue silence. Many visitors describe a gentle calm, as if all sound has been muffled by water's quiet grace. Return now to a scene shaped by ice, where the slowest moving river in the world quietly persists. In Antarctica, the Onyx River is a short, seasonal stream, flowing for just a few weeks each summer as glaciers melt and the rare warmth breathes across the land. Then, quietly, it freezes again into complete stillness, resting beneath a sky more often lit by stars than by sun. The Onyx River's annual journey is short but ancient. It moves at a gentle pace, more often seeping than running, across the stony, frost-blasted landscape of the continent. Scientists believe its waters reveal clues about Mars-like environments, serving as a tranquil, living laboratory for understanding life's resilience in harsh places. In the rare summer sunlight, the Onyx River sparkles, supporting tiny blooms of moss and life that vanish again as winter tightens its grip. Only a handful of creatures know its quiet music, microbes, patient and small, and birds that visit just long enough to rest before continuing on. All rest in the hush of southernmost stillness. It is not only rivers and lakes that shape water's quiet wonders. Occasionally, entire lakes disappear and reappear as if by magic. Somewhere in Oregon, Lost Lake vanishes each summer into hidden lava tubes beneath its bed. The water slips away underground, leaving behind a meadow scattered with wildflowers and the faint memory of gentle ripples. These natural drain holes, shaped by ancient volcanic flows, allow water to travel unseen through a web of tubes and caves. When autumn comes, rainfall quietly returns and Lost Lake gradually fills again. For much of the year, only the breeze and grass remember the water that once covered the earth, a gentle lesson in water's unhurried cycles. Somewhere between rain and river, a lake's quiet disappearance reminds us that the world's waters never truly end. Their journey only changes shape. Lost Lake's annual rhythm is a soft echo of all water's patient movement, as it rests above ground for a time, then slips gently into darkness and out again into the daylight. Now let your mind drift to the ancient, high mountains of Tibet, where a turquoise lake called Yamdrok Tso winds among snow-brushed hills. Many believe its shape resembles the coil of a sleeping dragon, its surface calm and radiant beneath the blue, endless sky. For centuries, people living on the nearby slopes considered its water sacred, a life-giving, peaceful presence in a rugged land. The high altitude and clear air mean Yamdrok Tso often reflects a tapestry of sunlight, mountain shadow, and drifting cloud. Even the wind arrives softly, rippling the water's surface in delicate patterns. Some nights, the lake absorbs the chill and radiance of countless stars, resting in silence that feels both eternal and protective. With each season, subtle colors travel across the water. In spring, glacier-fed streams enter Yamdrak Tso, while in the cooler months, the lake's surface sometimes freezes into smooth glass. This patient, almost meditative transformation quietly connects sky and water, land and cloud, a seasonal lullaby shaped by time's gentle hand. Some lakes hold secret patterns on their surface. In Canada's Spotted Lake, mineral-rich water evaporates each summer, leaving behind round, multicolored pools arranged in gentle patterns. Indigenous peoples have revered the lake for generations, believing its waters to have quiet, healing properties. By winter, the spots fade below rain and snow, their gentle shapes slumbering until sun returns. The minerals that create the spots, magnesium, calcium, sodium, and others, form naturally as the water retreats, arranging themselves in soft, mosaic-like circles. As summer deepens, the pools shift in color from green to blue to yellow, depending on the balance of salts and sunlight. These slow-changing hues create a quiet patchwork, unique each year and shaped only by patient evaporation. In the dusk, Spotted Lake is silent save for the faintest breath of breeze. The spots linger across the surface like gentle stepping stones, a quiet reminder that beauty can emerge from patient cycles of water, stone, and time. Somewhere, a heron stands among them, unhurried, waiting for night to fully arrive. There are waterfalls that breathe with tides, rising and falling with the moon rather than by gravity alone. In Canada's Bay of Fundy, the tidal bore creates a kind of river in reverse. Water from the sea rushes inland, climbing up the river channel and reversing its flow. The surge is gentle, like the waking of a quiet giant, pushing upriver with the patient strength of the moon's distant pull. These tidal rivers fill slowly, their rhythm shaped not by storms or rain, but by the predictable, timeless movement of tides. As the water rises and then gently falls back, mudflats and salt marshes awaken, supporting flocks of shorebirds that move in tune with the water's ebb and flow. Each tidal cycle brings fresh nutrients, a soft banquet for life along the water's edge. When the tide turns again, the surging water slows, slips back to sea, and a deep quiet returns. The river unspools its gentle story twice a day, sometimes in total silence, sometimes accompanied only by the rustle of reeds, one of the world's oldest rhythms, as unhurried as sleep itself. Now consider Lake Vostok, a secret world hidden beneath kilometers of Antarctic ice. For millions of years, it has existed in darkness and silence, separated from the surface by layers of glacial ice thicker than many mountains are tall. Scientists speculate that in its absolute stillness, Vostok may shelter tiny forms of life that have not changed for eons, evolving in peaceful isolation. Though no human has seen its waters with open eyes, Lake Vostok is one of the largest subglacial lakes known. Its existence was first revealed not by sight, but by gentle pulses, sonar reflections sent down through the ice. The water moves slowly, kept liquid only by subtle heat from below and the tremendous insulating pressure of the glacier above. Lake Vostok's absolute calm is almost mythic, a body of water so undisturbed that every ripple, every faint movement is sealed away from the world above. Somewhere in the darkness, life waits. In this way, the lake reminds us that wonder often resides in places too still and hidden to see, shaped by silence and age. In the world's high forests, there are lakes that mirror not only the sky, but entire seasons. Japan's mysterious Lake Mashu is often shrouded in heavy, low cloud. Local tradition calls it the Lake of the Gods because it remains so often cloaked, its surface hidden, protected by mist. On very rare days, the clouds lift, and the water reflects the surrounding mountains, a mirror held between worlds. The surface of Lake Mashu is recognized as one of the most transparent on Earth, clarity so great it feels as though you could see into dreams. Yet the lake always keeps some of its secrets, returning to mist, holding quiet in a ring of forest and silence. On still mornings, fog drifts low across the surface, and there is a deep, comforting hush. In autumn, leaves drop gently onto Lake Mashu's glassy water, drifting slowly before sinking out of view. The lake becomes a hush of color and quiet, only faintly marked by boat or bird. Year after year, Mashu holds a gentle mirror to the quiet turnover of seasons, patient and unwavering. Water's most soothing mystery might be its endless patience. The world's rivers, lakes, and waterfalls have no need to hurry. They have all the time in the world to shape stone, nurture quiet life, and lull us with their calm persistence. Above, the night sky continues its slow turning, and the silent stories of water flow on, waiting for those who choose to drift quietly alongside them. Somewhere, a river glides so quietly that its movement is nearly imperceptible, its banks softened by moss and time. This slow procession smooths rough stones and carves gentle meanders over centuries rather than seasons. Researchers have found that as river water moves, it collects the memory of forests and distant rains, carrying traces of fallen leaves, mountain soil, and even the silent passage of migrating fish. This invisible freight, suspended gently within the current, supports every living thing downstream and steadily shapes the valley's unfolding story, all while the river's own song remains a hush beneath the trees. While you settle in, consider the secret geometry of a waterfall's mist. Where water pours and strikes the rocks below, countless droplets become an endless cloud, each one briefly scattering the surrounding light into halos too faint for eyes to see. Scientists believe that this silvery veil holds more than just cool moisture. Within it, the air grows negative ions, which some find quietly refreshing. Old stone at the base grows slick and green, shaped not by a single fall, but by millions of soft impacts, year after year, in the long patience of gravity and time. In the quiet hours before dawn, certain lakes rest in deep slumber, their waters layered beneath the surface. The uppermost warmth slips soundlessly over a cooler, darker band below, rarely mixing. This gentle stratification, called thermal layering, allows subtle gradients of color and life to thrive at each level. Fish drift through their chosen depth, moving slowly through shifting realms of temperature, a silent choreography responding to sunlight, shade, and memory. The boundary where these layers meet, the thermocline, is undetectable to the eye, yet its whispering line remains a guiding thread within the peaceful world below. Somewhere, a river vanishes quietly into stone. Through the slow work of erosion, it finds a hidden path, disappearing below the earth into long, winding caverns. Here in near darkness, the water continues its patient journey, polishing limestone into smooth, cold sculptures and underground pools. These subterranean rivers flow on in silence for years, sometimes emerging far from where they were lost, always carrying forward the story of the mountains and rain. In this gentle darkness, the river's steady presence is a silent promise that, even unseen, water finds its way onward. Beneath the half-light of mist and moon, rivers sometimes carve entire worlds within worlds, secret caves and cathedrals sculpted over centuries by the patient caress of water. Even the softest current, running unhurried for millennia, can shape stone into smooth halls and shallows, leaving behind pockets of silence where the river's hum is softened by polished walls. The slow interplay of mineral and water gives rise to strange, gentle formations, pillars known as stalagmites, fragile curtains of calcite, each shaped at a pace imperceptible to passing eyes. Somewhere far out of sight, this sculpting continues tonight, the slow artistry of water and earth. There are lakes whose waters change color with the seasons, shifting between soft turquoise and gentle gray as sunlight and cloud mingle above. These delicate transformations happen quietly, influenced by minerals held in suspension, tiny living things adrift in the water, and the sky's shifting character. Ancient volcanic lakes, like those hidden deep in forested mountains, sometimes hold their color all year, with a clarity so profound that even when standing at the edge, the bottom can seem within reach, though it lies far out of sight. The rhythm of light and water continues, slow and predictable, a nearly silent conversation between earth and sky. Far downstream from waterfalls, the river carries with it the memory of falling water, a quiet hum that lingers long after the tumbling rush has faded. Scientists have found that the very sound of water, whether a distant cascade or gentle lapping at a mossy bank, lowers heart rates and soothes restless minds. The cascade's fine mist, floating unseen, settles onto the land and feeds tiny ferns and moss growing in cool shadows. This interplay of air, water, and stone creates miniature rainforests at the feet of falling rivers, places where the world feels held and softened, tucked safely into the shelter of water's presence. Deeper in the stillness, the world beneath a lake's surface remains hushed and undisturbed, even as weather moves far above. Fish drift through pockets of colder water, gliding along invisible thermoclines where temperature shifts without warning, layers that never fully blend but slide gently over one another. Some lakes hold their deepest water in unbroken calm, a layer untouched by storms or wind for years at a stretch. In these rare places, sediment settles in perfect silence, recording centuries of change, each layer a soft mark of passing time. The story continues, quiet, beneath the glassy dark. So as you nestle down, let the gentle memory of these rivers, lakes, and waterfalls linger. The patient journeys of water, the quiet reshaping of earth, and the hush of ancient depths all wait in the silence now around you. In that hush, you are as safe as a still lake under moonlight, as quietly powerful as a stream winding through shadowed wood. Sleep is another kind of river, flowing gently from waking into dreaming. Let yourself float, weightless, on slow currents of comfort. Tomorrow, the waters will still be waiting, unchanged but ever new, their soothing stories ready for another calm drift. For now, ease fully into rest, carried softly by water's ancient, peaceful lull. If these gentle stories help you drift, you're welcome to subscribe and flow with us again. Sleep deeply, carried along on the calmest waters.